Hey, hi everyone. So today we are back with our new video on our YouTube channel. So today we're gonna talk about a simple topic, but yet quite underestimated or underrated, I would call. So the topic is around whether we should call the LLM APIs directly from our applications. Like if we are calling any LLMs like Chat GPTs or Claude, or should we call directly their APIs, or should we call them via managed service? So this is the topic for today's video. I hope you will like the content which we are trying to bring in from last few weeks. And in case you like our channel and the content and the videos, do like and share them as well, and do subscribe to the channel for more information as well. Let's get started with the topic. Now, let's assume we are having a user here. So user is trying to go to an application. So they're browsing, and then they're going to some XYZ application. Now this XYZ application takes you to do some functionality. Now under the hood, this XYZ application is calling an LLM API, which can be Claude, which can be Gemini, which can be your Chat GPT or anything else. Now this application which I was talking about, like XYZ or anything, like any application, let's say website, any website, so which is trying to call these APIs. So now this website is calling these APIs directly. Now there is two ways to call these LLM models, whether you call them via their direct integration via using an SDK, whether you use LangChain, whether you use their individual SDKs or whatever. The other way is to either use a managed services. The managed services are nothing different, but they have separate features on top of it. Like if you want to control the, let's say, your data, how you are validating data validation on, in the sense like your guardrails, the first thing which comes to my mind, rate limiting kind of features, security kind of features, like how you want to limit your access to your LLM APIs and all those things. If you want to manage all these things separately, not separately, but rather without much of an overhead, then I think managed services would be a better option for you. So it depends on choice to choice, actually, whether you want to do the direct integration or whether you want to do the managed service integration. So it's up to you. Some people might choose the managed service integration because that may be a better for their use case. Some may choose the direct API call because that may take less time and less effort also for going to production. But let me tell you, if you're going directly via the LLM interaction, you can't build big application or enterprise kind of application, or let's say you can just build a POC kind of use cases. You can scale up to production level also, but you can't scale the application pretty easily. Sorry. So that's the challenge when you are interacting directly. So let's just list down some points why it is challenging and why it is in the long run it's hard to maintain. So when you are interacting directly with LLMs, how you are doing it? Either you are using SDKs, SDKs of what? SDKs of, let's say, LangChain, or let's say any other light LLM, or Claude SDK, Gemini, Google SDK, or ChatGPT SDKs. So there are other ways also with which you can interact, but I have listed down some of the popular ways right now. So when you interact with this, you will pass in your API key. You will have your API key stored somewhere, stored safely stored somewhere. You will call these SDKs, and then you will get the answers from these SDKs. So whatever amount of code you are writing, it is strictly calling those, but there are another features which you need on top of not only just calling these SDKs, but rather like security, how you want to do the rate limiting part, how you want to do the throttling part, how you want to do the PII data interaction or PII security handling. And then there are other aspects like your overhead of managing the private endpoints and then you will have another aspects related to, I would say, I think the number is wrong. So the another aspect can be related to guardrails I was mentioning in the start. Then another feature that comes in here is you can switch between different models easily. You need not to worry about much. Let's say today if you are using a managed services X, it has a LLM integration with, let's say, Claude and Gemini or whatever. Now tomorrow you want to switch from Gemini to Claude, you can switch it easily. So you just need to enable those models in your managed services and you are done. So that way the switching is easier, which is not easy in case of the first integration. So if you're building an application with the SDKs, so today if you're integrating with Gemini, tomorrow you want to integrate with Claude, you will have to change your SDK integration. If you're not using a common SDK layer, which can make your switching pretty easy. But even though if that is also there, you will be keep on switching those models in your SDK layer also every time. So that is a big overhead. That is the first thing. Then all these features which I talked about here, those are not coming handy by default when you're interacting with this way. So that is where you will have to write specifically for these features or code specifically for these features, which you want to incorporate in your first way. So for that, you will have to research and invest time and all those things. So, but all these things are coming by default in managed services area. So if you want to implement this security, PII, overhead of managing private endpoints, guardrails, everything. So everything is part of managed services. But the only thing is it comes with a cost. That is the major driver factor why people go to the direct integration with the LLMs. But those are usually for small and medium kind of applications. Once they have reached to certain scale, they will have to switch to some of the other services or the managed services. Or what they can do is they try and build their own integration layer here, which act as a managed service layer. So they spend some time in building this layer, which integrates with or which has the feature of guardrails and security uh, and your other gateway level implementations, all those things. So they implement it on their own in this service rather than taking the managed service by default. So that is where the integration services can also play a good role if you are on this area right now, and if you want to switch to managed services, you can try exploring about this option also if you have less budget. But if you have convenient amount of budget, and if you want to scale your product faster and to wider audience, and at the same time you're ready to spend also, considering the benefits that you are getting, then I think managed services would be the best option in any case. So that's where managed services would be the best option apart as per my suggestion. Now what are my managed services we have in the market? So we have managed services from different providers right now. Preferably talking from AWS, we have AWS Bedrock. Then of course, Azure offers you Azure OpenAI. So these are managed services where you get different models and interactions and all that. Apart from that, there are different other services available right now in the market, which offer you the combination of all those AI LLM models, which you can integrate and interact as well via an API call. So these services are available right now. These services are getting matured also day by day. Like initially, if you talk of Bedrock, Bedrock was an only LLM integration layer where it has all those things which I talked about, which are there in the managed service. Those were there, but now it has advanced a lot. They have an agentic layer also, with which you can define your agents. You can build your RAG model also, and all those things are by default coming in. Now, all these things are coming in all these other managed services platforms also. So I think building a use case obviously is pretty easy. Either you go for managed services or you go for the chat LLM direct integration. So building is not tough, but the only thing is when you have to scale, when you have to make the changes on fly, when you have to test your features and for different use cases, you have to switch between the models, you have to apply different architectures, considering different use cases like RAG, like basic agentic layer, or any other aspects you want to try out, then managed services might help you more in terms of the go to market time and the strategy. That's where the LLM part won't be able to help you so quickly to give you an edge over there. So that's where if you are too agile and if you want to move faster, you want to scale faster, then I think this managed services would be a better option as well. I think that's all for today's video. If you have any other questions, if you have something else in mind which you want to discuss or which you want me to explain in the upcoming videos, please do shout out in the comment and mention that what you want to understand. So we'll keep on bringing some new videos on some small topics and some of the bigger topics that we think that are in our part of roadmap, like agentic AI or anything else. And at the same time, we're gonna build some architecture, or we're gonna show some videos on the architecture design, also considering all these aspects, considering the scalability and all those things as well. So that's all for today's video. Thanks a lot for your time. Do like and share our video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.